In summer 2019, I left home and started university with a big dream. I wanted to be a world-famous indie game developer. I wanted to be like Notch or Scott Cawthon and make the next big game. I didn't have any actual game ideas back then, but I had the ambition, so I applied to a university games course and to my surprise, I got accepted. While at university, I mostly focused on game art, and I really learnt a lot, but I knew I needed a way to bring my characters to life. And that's when I discovered Unity. This video will show my progress through 1.5 years of self-taught Unity projects. I know I said I studied games at uni, but I still learnt Unity in my own time using mostly YouTube tutorials and free online resources. Please consider subscribing and pressing the like button if you would like to see more games-related videos. I promise, if you subscribe today, there is a 1 in 5 chance that this sloth will come to your house and give you 50p. Okay, let's start with the first game. I know most people start their game dev journey by making a platformer or something, and I really probably should have because I spent way too long on this useless game. But this is it. This is the first game I made in Unity, and it took me about a month and I learnt hardly anything. This is the potato game. Okay, so not as good as it could have been. Basically, it's supposed to be a clicker game. I came up with a bunch of crazy ideas about having a shop and currency that would increase, but I spent so long trying to work out the UI that I ended up just making a potato that speaks when you click him. In all seriousness though, at least this game helped me gain a bit of confidence with Unity. I didn't really learn much at all, but I felt a bit more confident going into my next project, which was this, titled creatively Jumping Bean. This one is a bit more complicated. I scrapped my potato idea and decided that I needed some movement in my games. I was so proud of myself when I actually made this character move. I only spent a day or so on this one because I followed a tutorial which was so helpful. I definitely recommend finding a Unity tutorial series and following it through. If I could go back, I would have just done that from the beginning. I'll admit this game is not really even a game though, and I actually based the character off of this really bad animation I did years ago about a small creature falling in love with a bowl of macaroni cheese. I had some cool ideas for this project, but it ended up being more of a way for me to practice my coding skills. On to the next game. So after managing to program some movement, I of course decided once again to scrap the project and work on something else. Almost all of my game ideas were in 3D, so I wanted to stretch myself by making my first 3D game. This one was a lot more exciting than the others. It was titled Bean Farm, and I actually managed to get some cool stuff working. I made some NPCs that walk past you while you plant crops. I also tried to make a shop, but it didn't really work out. The NPC AI is quite atrocious and physics in this game is interesting, but I managed to code in some animations and planting mechanics that I was really proud of. I also had so much fun designing my first 3D world. It was at this point though that I realised that making games in Unity is a lot harder than I thought. I went through a really depressive phase where I kept thinking, I can't do this. I would come up with ideas that I thought were really cool, but they all ended up being way too big and complicated for me to make by myself, so I never ended up finishing them. My dream of being an indie game developer just seemed impossible. I started panicking at this point and thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm studying a niche degree in a super competitive industry. I didn't think I'd ever be able to land a real job in the games industry, so my only option was to make my own games, but even that wasn't working out for me. To be a successful indie developer, you need to have a successful indie game. My ideas were rubbish. After a few months of zero progress, I spoke to one of my lecturers about how I felt like a complete failure. My lecturer gave me some advice that has stuck with me since that day, and it's, if you're making indie games to get rich, you're in the wrong industry. You have to make games you would want to play. Forget about if your game will be successful or not. As long as you love it and you've made something you can play, then it's a win. From that day, my mindset changed, my motivation came back, and I stopped worrying about how to make my games successful, and I just focused on how to make them fun. The next game I made was the first game I actually finished. The concept is bizarre, but I think I was just really hungry when I came up with the idea, and that's how this game happened. Basically, you control a baker and you have to construct the perfect pie. The game is really dark because I didn't know anything about Unity lighting back then, but I managed to make some really cool buttons and a timer. If you don't follow the recipe properly, then zombies will come and get you at the end of the day, so there's actually a way to win and lose in this game. I had so much fun making this game, and I still sometimes randomly open it and play it. After finishing that, I also made a simulation of the solar system. This I was actually able to submit as a maths assignment for my university. I was so much better at programming after making this, and I love space, so I had fun too. Now we come to my latest project and what I'm still working on to this day, introducing sloths. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because there are a bunch of videos on my channel about this game, but for any newcomers, the basic concept is it's an MMO similar to Club Penguin where you're a sloth. The game is playable on simmer.io right now, and at the moment I'm adding in some mini games so you can earn coins to spend in the shops. I learnt so much while coding the multiplayer side of this game, and I actually improved my art skills a lot too. In fact, I was able to use this game on my portfolio to help me land my first real job in the games industry. I used this game to apply to work at Mediatonic, the Fall Guys company, EA, and so many other places. Eventually I was offered a job working as a Unity developer for a company that makes games for Disney. So that takes me to where I'm at today. I've been working as a Unity developer full-time for about a month now, and I'm still working on my sloth game and my other games projects on the side. It wasn't an easy journey, but all of my hard work eventually paid off, and I'm so glad that I stuck with it. Thank you so much for watching till the end of this video. This video took like way too long to edit, so I'm so glad that someone made it to the end. Please use the word sloth in your comment if you made it this far, and I will try my best to reply to you and heart your comment. Please also consider subscribing if you want to see more games related content. I have lots of ideas for other games related videos coming out over the next few months, but if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below and I will try my best to do them. Thank you so much once again for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye bye!